stellar start today, right before the Miami Grand Prix. First live show, give me a break. This is the Fantasy Formula One cockpit. This is your captain speaking, and we're getting right into it with a little over 30 minutes to the sprint here today. So we're gonna get right after it. So Miami race weekend, it's being I guess it's technically called a road circuit because it's not really a street circuit, but it's been made into it. It is a relatively safe track for us today. There's not really many spots to get beached. Even for there as many as fake water is located in and around the track. I don't think there's any fear of anyone getting stuck into that. So we're going to quickly get right into how these teams need to look for you guys today. So looking at, I just want to show how everyone did in our last few races here. So last week we had I guess a decent weekend in Saudi Arabia, not really a great one. Two of our teams got absolutely devastated. Kind of looking at what happened here, like Lance Stroll getting no points. Hassan Williams, I guess this is one of the teams that we switched back to try to gain some value on, and I believe, Mercedes didn't have the weekend we hoped they would last week. That was the team we had doubled up on Russell with them as well. Kind of to be expected, but this team here with Oscar, Russell, and McLaren, obviously room for improvement just because Russell didn't quite have the race we thought he was going to have. But just want to show how all these teams have looked here. If I actually go to the league, just because I want to share, we're quite a few races in now, so I kind of want to just share how all these teams are kind of like pairing up with each other. So just by showing, I have four different teams. So this is where in this league here I have my competitive team as well as the three teams I have built for you guys. So just sharing. So my team, here it is, Faki doing that team. The value on that team is 107.5. For team number 2, that's the constructor focus one. Which one's that? So that is this one here. So Captain Driver Budget Builder. Good to know. Get back into it here. So the constructor focus one is 108.4. So it's almost a million more for 100 points, which I think is a decent trade-off because those 100 points can be made up well over the races left over. Where it starts to fall off a little too much is here on the driver focus one. That one is 109.4. So it's actually got 2 million more to spend, but I am over 200 points behind, which is starting to get a little worrisome there because that's starting to, you really like, yes, it can be made up over a few races, but knowing that this team, it is only 2 million behind. We've seen it like teams already where you have 2 or 3 million just because how these drivers are spaced out, where it can be really valuable because that can be the difference. But for a lot of teams, maybe it's a bit hard. But that 109.4, I think, is the most I've been seeing. I think there's been a couple teams I've seen that have been breaking 110 million already, which is really, really good. And then the last budget builder team, I only got to 108.3. So that's one that I've been knowingly sacrificing points trying to build budget. And it's actually been a million behind the driver focused one. And I think that's just more, we've seen bigger changes from the drivers, having 5 drivers changing versus like where I'm focused on them to change price versus the constructors, I think is kind of contributing to that. But my competitive team being at 107.5, pretty reasonable. Like everyone else, it did lose some money in the first week, which put it behind, but as did all these others. So knowing that I'm maybe 2.5 million behind the most people, but I have over 1,000 points there to put me in the top 10,500 people. I feel really good about that. But this driver team is one I'm concerned about at 109.4. But the constructor focus seems to be working well. I've gained a million and I'm just 100 behind. I think that's easily, I'm able to make that up just because I think that extra million, it could slowly climb, but I think that every little bit counts. So we'll get right into it. I don't think there will be many changes for this week on a lot of teams just because I do think a lot of these drivers are trending in the right direction. So if you have just moving over to, let's see here, I want to pull up the F1 fantasy tools here, looking at the budget builder here. So if you have squads that don't really include, like Duhan might be, maybe you make one change and then trigger your, see, I don't know if you make one transfer and then hit the limitless, if that's the team it's going to give you, or if it'll put it back to what it was before limitless. I want to say I think that's a loophole, but I'm not confident. But if you even have only one of these guys, like maybe it's Hulkenberg, maybe it's Duhan, maybe it's Gasly, because a lot of people were really high on him last week. Go ahead, run the limitless, just because it will revert back to your team. So your budget is still going to be based off the team you have before triggering that limitless chip. But looking at this, I do think it's a good week for a limitless chip. The Ferraris consistently seem to be like nearly a half second behind the McLarens and the Red Bull. Russell looked really good. Obviously, Antonelli had a good weekend. So knowing that the Ferraris were consistently like a half second behind in qualifying, or at least for the sprint quali, I think it would be worth using a limit this week by taking both McLarens, both Mercedes, and Verstappen. I think it's really nice to have when you go to use that limitless chip that you have as much consistency through practice and the qualifying. Like Leclerc did look good in the first practice, but again, it's first practice. People may not be putting full race programs in, knowing that they have the sprint race and qualifying to kind of get to kind of replace that P2, just like FP2, just trying to get an idea for what the track's doing. I think they're just trying to get the car set up still in that first practice. It's not necessarily truly an FP2. But some teams may treat it that way. So as much as Leclerc got into there, I do feel really good knowing through the sprinkler that the Ferraris were, of those top three teams, kind of more obviously behind. So I do think it's a good week for the limitless chip, and just to put ideas for what that looks like for everyone. Oh man, unless I trigger a limitless chip myself, I can't really show everybody. But on this team, basically, I'm adding Norris, I'm adding both Mercedes drivers, and I'm adding Verstappen. And I think for a lot of people, do I have a team I feel good about doing that with? Stroll, are you going down in money? Yeah, Stroll's going down. Ocon, Behrman, Russell, I think. So this could be a team that's eligible. So this team actually could be a nice eligibility. Racing Bulls and Haas for going up. Racing Bulls and Haas. Yeah, Kick Sauber is the only one that looks like it could be in line for a big downturn. So just for the sake of showing you guys, I think this team, Norris, Antonelli, Russell, Hadjar, but I also think this could be a good week just for using those three and keeping it. So if you have a team similar to this, like maybe it's not Antonelli and Russell, maybe you have Piastri, maybe one of the Ferrari drivers in here, knowing that they could have a race, because these guys can continue to go up in value having good races. This may be the one to use. Limitless on. It's just tough because even if when you're heavy with three drivers like this, I think the difference being you make up all the points. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for you guys. Okay, we're gonna activate some chips here. Let's see, chips, chips, chips. Apply chips. Let's go. We're running a limitless on this third team. So it isn't as much that I need to add it, but as much as say, oh, you have the three drivers, I need the constructors. So that's what we're doing. So this is what this team, oh my gosh, there we go, should look like here. Verstappen, there we go. And then obviously constructors, this is where it gets cute, where I think McLaren has to be in there, and George has been so consistent. Antonelli's going to be starting at the front. I think this is what a limitless team should look like, and I do think it's a good weekend for it. Just for it's really nice to know that that third team of Ferrari is so far back, so far in the quality. I think this is what most limitless teams should be looking like. There might be some people worried about Piastri not really ever having a good Miami Grand Prix. I think we have to leave all of Piastri's history behind him. He has looked so consistent and so good in that car this year. I don't think tracks are going to matter much more for him. Like normally, if this was earlier in the year, like it was the second or third race, maybe I'd be concerned, but I'm really not. Piastri's looked absolutely awesome. The few times he has been like he's finished behind or qualified behind Norris, he's been right there. He's been a lot closer to Norris has when he's the second best driver than Norris has been to Piastri when Piastri's the best. So yeah, ride the hot hand. And now for this one, it is tricky if you're using a limitless. Who do we run? I'm hesitant to use either Mercedes just because I don't think they don't seem to dominate during the race as well. They seem to be able to hold position really well. They don't seem to be able to overtake the leaders very strongly. Verstappen is one that's capable of doing so. Piastri and Norris are certainly capable. I think the Red Bull and McLaren cars are better for overtaking up front, or maybe not the Red Bull car, but Verstappen in that Red Bull car. So I think if you're going to use the two time, I would be wanting to use it on probably one of the McLaren drivers. I do think Norris historically, like Verstappen and Norris are the only ones to ever win Miami in the 3 years we've had it. Piastri's looked really consistent. Maybe we just hedge it of giving Norris the two times this weekend because he did win it last year, albeit for timely safety cars and stuff, but still, he has the car for it. I don't think it can be a Mercedes. I think it has to be one of these two. If people think it's another race Verstappen can win, I think like Miami is a little bit more forgiving, so I don't think it's a track that's as technical where Verstappen can really open up gaps. Um, I think it has to be one of these two. I'm going to stick with Norris for this team for showing you guys. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and lock that in for you guys for my changes. Cool. So Limitless activated for this one. On this team, I really don't think I'm making many changes here. I think the most that I'll be doing is maybe I'm switching Stroll out for who's available here. Let's go by value. Goodness me, getting a little eager with all of my. So I could be adding a Carlos Sainz because I have 10.5 to spend, but I think Carlos is due to go down. Yeah, Carlos is due to go down, so I don't want that. Looking at Albon, Albon could go either way. Looking at Lawson maybe, although Lawson got a little lucky with Sonoda in the Q1 qualifying, just not making the flag on his flying lap, so that was a mistake on his part. Alonso could be going up. Basically, you have to take your pick of Alonso, Lawson, and Albon, I think, here. Just can't afford Albon. I'm just outside of it. So I think we're going possibly Alonso here. How much money do I have left? 4.3, eh? Knowing that I'm only making two changes, if I bump Russell down to Antonelli, I think I can afford Albon now. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I want to say, like, the Mercedes guys, I expect to kind of score similarly. Like, they should have similar amount of overtakes. It's really just who qualifies better, and Kimi's kind of already shown that maybe it's going to be him doing that. Yeah, he's got as good a chance to stay as Russell, pretty similar odds to increase in value. It's really just going to be whoever finishes higher, I think, has the better chance. And a point one down, I'm not going to break myself over. But these three, great for value building. Piastri just is going to be consistent, and he's my one. And then Mercedes being the constructor on this one. So again, this is the team. I actually don't know what the value of this team is because this isn't actually one of the ones that I've been building. But this is a nice strategy for people, just showing. So I'm just actually going to lock this in because I like that team, and I'll show people the value of it once I'm done here. And I do have a rollover transfer for that one if I wanted to make, but I don't think there's another one. It's unfortunate to not use all three when you have it, but just to show the value of this team so I know what range of people are able to do it. 108.1. So right, I think in the middle of where a lot of teams are. I think 108 seems to be a nice little middle ground, that 107, 108 value. Um, and really here, I think a lot of teams, let's just go to the team calculator really quick just for these people. So I know on my competitive team at 107.5, so this is what they think the best scoring groups for me are. So a lot of it is going to be the McLaren Mercedes pairing, which isn't a surprise. Piastri in there strictly for having a McLaren of value. Um, Now the problem with some of these is having signs in there. We expect to score well, but he is due to be guaranteed to pretty much go down this week. So it'd be nice to avoid that. There are a few nice looking ones like this one with Gasly, Alonso, and Behrman. Gain 1 million in value, stay right up there near the 236. This one's really nice here with the Haas pair, and then the budget of Hajar Bortoleto could go up 1.7 to give me 235. Those are what you want to be looking for is the teams kind of like that. For people that are maybe suffered a little bit more, let's try 106.5. See what they're able to achieve. Here's a 1.5 here with Ocon, Alonso, Bortoleto, Hajar. So I think that's one that's achievable for a lot of people. And that's only going to cost you like 105 million, which is kind of nice. So it's nice to see for a lot of people that they think some of the best scoring teams are in that 105. So almost anyone can afford these teams here. Yeah, so really looking at this, like knowing you can have decent quality teams. I don't like the addition of signs, just because I think that's what's really hurting the value on these teams. But I don't really think there's a way to get Albon in there, because the value difference between them is now, whoops, let's see, 2.5. So honestly, for 2.5, so 108.5, if you can get Albon in there, I think that's definitely somewhere that a lot of teams should be looking. 108.2, they still have signs in there. They make changes elsewhere. But here's one. Here's one with Albon that I think is similar to the one we were seeing before, where they just replaced signs with, like it's literally this one here. 237, so you're trading zero point 0.5 points for 0.5 million in value. So obviously the zero point 0.5 is a little bit more value than half a point, like basically sub 1 point. So that's obviously where I would be going, is getting this Albon, Alonso, Bortoleto, Hajar. Just continuing down for those that are fortunate enough to have 108. Here's one with the Haas pair, Bortoleto, Hajar, that's 107.2. 107.9 has the, it's only a zero point 0.4. Yeah, I think there's room for it this week. I do think there's not many changes a lot of people need to make. I think we've, as a community, have done really well the last few weeks, building teams. We've kind of got an idea of trends. There's been less crashes, so there's less people, I guess, having that. I think the group that's guaranteed to fall has decreased a bit. Because like even looking at constructors, Kick Sauber's the only one that's I'd say got a guaranteed odds to go down. And that 4.8, they're really already at the bottom. So the worst you can do is a zero point 0.3, something to consider for some people that have to run Kick Sauber. Not nearly as bad as maybe Aston or Alpine, but they really like they're starting to think that there's good chances for basically everyone except Alpine and Kick Sauber to go up quite a lot in value. Yeah, even the major constructors like guaranteed to increase in value. Just the value of constructors seems to be so perfect. And I think that's why a lot of people need to be running double Mercedes and McLaren, is because over 87% for all three of them to go up in zero point 0.3 value. The number of drivers with 87% or better to go up zero point 0.3 in value, there's one. And even going down here to the B tier, 87%, there's one. Like, and that's at 77, go up zero point 0.6. Even zero point 0.2, there's no one that has 80% even. Like, you got 50% there, 70% there. So Ocon, 70% chance to go up in value, at even just zero point 0.2 or better. It's things like that. So I think doubling up on these constructors is so, so important right now. I think that's where a lot of teams are starting to pull ahead just that little bit, because it's so easy to gain value with these guys. Like a lot has to go wrong. And that's part of having two drivers. Like the odds of both your drivers not finishing is kind of low. You kind of need to, I think, have something fundamentally wrong with the car. So yeah, this is my competitive team here. We're getting down to a little bit of a short, went over 15 minutes to race there. So yeah, this is the team I got to be working with. So I think Gasly might be the only driver I'm taking out, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, guaranteed to go down. So he's coming out 9.4 million. Yeah, I really think I'm kind of stuck going. I could add a Stroll, or I think it's got to be Ocon though, because Ocon, I think just that Haas pair, like yeah, he's got a 70% chance to increase in value, 34 and 35 to at least point 0.2. Love that. Already got Behrman and Bortoletto in the lineup, so I think this is a pretty safe week. I got three transfers to use. Even using one, I can still roll it over to next week should anything go really weird. But yeah, a lot of people want to use the Limitless. I like to wait to use my Limitless chip in the chance that I can finally get a team that's like if I had had this team already, because I think I switched Ocon out for Gasly last week and now it's biting me, like knowing that everyone was going up, I would be so happy to slam the Limitless chip. But I do like to kind of wait later into the year for me for my Limitless because I think you do start to see a bit of gaps between the teams where I think the difference in time and budget for upgrades really starts to show itself. And that's what I really like to see. Like I've always been one to use the three times and the Limitless right at the end of the year, and it's always worked out well for me. I hate wasting it early in the year where we still feel like there's a lot of unknowns. This is probably the first sprint race that I feel really confident using this. I already burned it on one of the teams for you guys that you could see, but I think this is all the changes I'm really going to make. Like I'm only leaving point 0.3 on the table. This is probably the team. It's not sexy, I know. I'm sorry, guys, but this is my competitive team. It'll score decent points. Yeah, because other than making like a lot of changes here, like we're showing the team calculator, I just don't think 107.5 was my team. I just don't think I have too much room to make changes. Yeah, so that group, this one, it two less points than what the most I'm supposed to be able to get, but 1.74 in value. Like to gain almost 2 million, I think is just so important even now in a sprint race. Like I will take that. I will take that extra million I'm probably going to gain in value on my team by not using Limitless, knowing I can hopefully save it for later. Yeah, it's not sexy, but you know what? Winning isn't always sexy. People win bad, so you don't have to do like minimal is almost better. Sometimes less is more, and I think you just have to really stand by that. So I'm going to move over to these constructor built teams I have for you guys here now. Just making sure I saved that team. I did. I think that's all I'm doing for those ones. Onto constructor focused teams. So this is one that how is Duhan projected to do? Duhan is, I think he's supposed to be okay for value, right? I think. No, he's guaranteed to go down as well. That's just the Alpine drivers. Cool. So for this team with the constructor focus, there's a big part of me. Oh, one sec, I'm in the wrong window. Apologies, guys. I'm really tempted to kick Russell out to bring Mercedes in, just because I think that's been working. Like I said earlier, it's been working really, really well. So by doing that, bring Mercedes in. I get three transfers even to make this work. So I can take Duhan out, and then I can get into constructor focus. I don't really want to copy what my team is doing, but I may have to. Okay, Bortoletto's in there. I have 9.7 to spend. So that can get me Lance Stroll or Ocon we already have in there. I'm just a little bit away from being able to get up. Let's see. Isaac Hadjar's down there. Jack Doohan's down there. Fernando Alonso at 6 million. Only gives me a 3 million difference. Because because I can't. Yeah, it only gets me to the Ferrari drivers, which isn't very sexy at all. Um, as far as a constructor-focused team, this is kind of what we should be running. It should be Behrman, shouldn't it? It should be Behrman. I think it has to be. I know this is copying my competitive team, but these are the three teams I'm building for you guys. So sometimes I may have to copy my competitive team on what is the stronger team, just because I want to be able to build that one for you guys to show options. Um, and in fairness, that team does have a million more, so we could probably get close to my competitive team and see how it's working. Point 0.3. Behrman's right there. I still have 1.2. Um, Problem is the budget guys have been doing okay. Like Bordello can't go down in value. Hajar is just above that. I don't really want to switch Hajar out. If I want to switch Bortoletto out, this is my 108.4 team. What does Budget Builder say to do? It's possible options. Yeah, Signs, Behrman, Bortoletto, Hajar give me the most points. And that's supposed to go up 1.12 in value. Then I can have Signs on this team finally for a little variance. I don't mind that. But then Alonso with Bortoletto. And so that has me switching out Hajar for Alonso. That has me getting 1.7 more. Alonso and Bortoletto, eh? I may not have the means to make that one work though. So leave Bortoletto in there. Take out Hajar, put in Alonso. Did I use all three transfers there? I think I just used two, right? Just going to pretend hitting this. No, I've done four somehow because Russell's out, Duan's out, Hajar's out, Haas is out. Yeah, so I can't do that. I can't do that. Hajar has to stay in because I'm already using three transfers to kind of get back to what my competitive team is, and that's part of the reason why you try to roll transfers if you can. Sometimes less is more. By only using one, you can roll one. This allows me to get back to the team that seems to be more competitive, and then next week I start anew and try to like move people in. So maybe next week, once Signs can hopefully have a better race and he's less likely to go down in value, maybe that's when I can try to add him in. Because having, of course, more budget guys in weeks where you're going to have only two transfers, it definitely makes it easier to go up in value rather than down. So yeah, for the constructor focus, we'll lock this in. I'm using all three. I am burning a whole full million here, but I think that just has to be done to kind of fix it. Looking at the driver focused ones, so this is one that I have both Mercedes and a McLaren guy in. This team has been kind of fun actually to root for, so I've been pretty happy with it. So this one, I believe my value is 109.4, if I'm correct. I'm just going to quickly double check that to show you guys. And a big part of that has been running the budget constructors. Like we said, the constructors are the easiest way to gain value. 109.4. So if we quickly I want to show people what 109.4 looks like, just because I haven't even looked at what these teams can look like. Signs, Ocon, Alonso, Bortoletto. Yeah, I guess just being able to add signs in there is the only big difference for some of these teams. That's supposed to get like 3 more points than what all the rest of the teams are. But again, we're looking for value still. We're shopping. Yeah, they're still liking that 107th. It seems to be the best one. 108.9. I can actually get Alonso and Hajar in there instead of Bortoletto and Hajar. Still goes up 1.6. Yeah, there's nothing. This one has Albon in it. I like that a little bit more. Gets me a few less points, maybe 500,000 less it's predicting, but obviously this thing isn't perfect. It could easily flip the other way. I do think that's something, but I have the driver focus. I really want to see. All right, let's include these three because those are the three, my big three on this team that I want people to try for. Sorry, I'm just reopening my window so I can see it. So knowing I'm doing that, ba, 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 ba. Here we are. So knowing we have to include Piastri, Russell, and Antonelli. 210. So it's saying it's predicting to score 20 points less than some of those other teams, which isn't the worst, but there are a lot more combinations that are going up in value, which is totally fine. Like 210 to 207. So I got Alonso Bortoleto. They have Aston Martin and Mercedes actually in there. That's actually kind of cool to be able to triple up on Mercedes. And knowing that Antonelli qualified as high as he did, that might be a decent play. I don't love adding Aston Martin. Kick Sauber can't really go down in value, but it's not supposed to do much better. Only zero point 0.3 added. They had signs in there with that one. Just trying to see, because some of it that makes fantasy fun is literally just trying to be able to add the teams you want. So a lot of these teams actually have Mercedes being one of the teams I have to have in here. So I think we'll try that. I just don't, I may not have enough teams on this one to, well, Stroll's my only down value on this team. Would that be one I'd also want to go limitless on for you guys? Hmm. I have 3 transfers to use. So let's see what can happen when I take out my most expensive here. Let's get Mercedes in there. I have 9 million to spend on the last 2. I might not be able to do this. Yeah, not going to be able to do this. Oh, maybe. I can get Jack Doohan in there. So with Bortoleto, Doohan, and Haas, how does that look? Sorry, I didn't really show the team there. One sec. I'm just going to switch this over for you guys so you can see it. So for this one, I added Bortoleto, Doohan, and Mercedes to be able to triple up Mercedes. I'm keeping Haas somehow. Just want to see if I can't find that group on the budget builder now to see what it looks like and how they predict that week to go. So if I go Mercedes is in there for sure. Haas is in there for sure. This is, yeah, due on board. This is the only one. So this predicts me getting 210 and up 1.2 million. That's something I think I can live with because I'm not gaining enough. I think the other teams I was looking at were maybe zero point 0.2 more in value and 2 points more, but I'd be taking a negative 10 points to be able to make more transfers work. So sometimes, like the teams that you want to see may not be at the top. I'm actually not sure where this ranks with the rest, but it's efficiently using my budget. I'm only wasting zero point 0.3. I'm going up over a million in value. And I'd say I'm within 50 points of the leader. I can probably live with that. Like I think 230 was the top ones we were seeing. So even that's 20 points. So I think that's where we are going to go with this driver focused team. So we'll lock that in. Getting down to the final minute before quali here. Let's lock that one in. And then honestly, for this budget building one, there isn't too much more we can do other than we're taking Stroll out and we're putting Behrman in. And I think that's all we're doing with this one here. Just because we're getting down to the minute, I wanted to do it a little quicker. So I still have 2 top drivers, and I have Mercedes and Haas in there, actually similarly to this one. But I have my Haas duo and Hadjar to increase in value. Just to get, and so this should still roll over one for next week, which will be nice. Just to show, so Piastri, Russell, Behrman, Ocon. I want to show everyone what that one might look like here. I know we're kind of getting down to it. You guys are already locking in your teams. So I can take out Antonelli on this team. I still have Mercedes and Haas, Piastri. So team I just built. So this is Tsunoda to actually be better. And I need the Haas, both Haas drivers with Russell and Hadjar. Cool. It is kind of fun, this feature, to be able to do this. And where's Hadjar? There it is. So this one expects me, so actually not as many points, almost 2 million though, which is pretty nice. And 193 points, which is like 37 behind, but it's inside that 40, which is nice. I'm only burning 0.3. Yeah, I can probably live with something like that. All right, and quali has started. There's not much more I can say. I'm gonna go watch it. I hope you guys enjoy Miami. It's nice to finally have one in my own time zone. We'll talk to you after this weekend to talk about